so excited to be here. I missed you guys last week, so here I am back on YouTube with some awesome information today. So I hope you enjoy the information provided. For those of you just joining me for the first time, welcome. And for those of you that join me regularly, welcome back. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to join me while I continue to rehydrate. It is a beautiful morning in East Texas. For those of you that don't know, I am Mary from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and we are located in Ben Wheeler, Texas. I have had some special requests for discussing specific seeds, and one of those was milkweed. And it was, how do we plant it? Where do we plant it? What do we do with it? So those are some of the questions that I'm going to answer today. Hey, Caitlin, thanks for joining me. If you're here, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please feel free to share the video. All of my videos, whether they're live or whether they were just posted by me, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, both of them are shareable. So please share with your friends. I really appreciate it. So the question was, here's the thing. A couple of months ago, I gave milkweed seeds as a freebie, and if you received it, oh, it's pixely. Hang on just a sec. Can you guys see me okay? Is it, let me see if I can fix it. All right. Can you guys see me all right? Or is it pixely? Just let me know. And can you hear me okay? Because I hate to go live and have a 20-minute video and then you not be able to hear me or see me while I'm live. Just let me know. Just comment if you can. Good morning, Agape Field. Thank you so much for joining me. I am having to stay out of the sun today, so I am underneath the shade, and I can't spray my regular natural mosquito stuff because I've got stuff going on. I had an allergic reaction to something, so I'm just kind of trying to keep it together today. All right, everybody. So who here, if you're joining me and you're watching me live today, have you grown milkweed before? And what was your experience with it? So I mentioned just a second ago that I gave away free milkweed seeds earlier this year. Agape Field says sound is good. Is it pixely or can you see me? All right, so I included this insert about growing milkweed seeds. But if you didn't get freebie milkweed seeds and you still want information on it, I'm always happy to help. So of all of the milkweed seeds that I have grown, they all benefit from cold stratification. If you don't know how to cold stratify, I'm going to talk about this with you as well. Hello, Miss M. Thanks for joining us. So I have a couple of milkweed seed packs with me here today. Common milkweed is what I included in my Wednesday live chat on Facebook. Common milkweed is a very common milkweed. So for those of you that are unaware of it, there are milkweed is native to the U.S., to all of North America, but there are some that are better in certain states. So there are some that are more native to different regions. Oh, not pixely. Okay, good. So common milkweed is the most common milkweed. The name is kind of self-explanatory, and it is native in so many states. I don't know that it's all states, but it is common in most states. So I'll try and pull up a map to give you a better option, and I'll share that in the community section on my YouTube channel. So common milkweed is a perennial. It can reach, it can reach 2 to 6 feet high. Really cool. And it goes on solitary stalks. And Kitty's joining me outside today. So the chemicals in the sap can be poisonous to animals, which is awesome for monarch butterfly caterpillars, because it means that some of the predatory animals or insects that would eat the caterpillar, they are deterred by that poisonous sap. Kind of cool, right? So it has a natural defense mechanism because milkweed plants are the sole source of food for monarch butterfly caterpillars. Kind of cool, right? So somebody asked, what is the point of milkweed? Like, what is its purpose? And that is its purpose. Now, there are other butterfly caterpillars that will use milkweed plants as their food. Swallowtail butterfly caterpillars, for example. But even though it's native to the U.S., we are losing the milkweed throughout the U.S., whether it's because of, in my opinion, poor agricultural practices, meaning using herbicides and pesticides, whether it is mowing them down where their native habitat is. I see a lot of it on the side of the road, and then the county will come by and just mow it all down, which is really, really sad. I understand that it could be a fire hazard having brush on the side of the road, but when you have a natural milkweed habitat, you really need to protect that. Good morning, Denise. Thanks for joining us. So all of those things pose a threat to the monarch butterfly population. Losing to new housing developments here. Exactly. So that is a very common thing we are seeing over the last couple of decades, is the loss of habitat for monarch butterflies. Hey, Snarky, thanks for joining us. So I want to encourage you to plan an area for milkweed to grow for the caterpillars. All right, so here we go. Leaves. I've got so much awesome stuff to share with you. This was a question that was asked about how to grow milkweed, how we protect it, how we grow it, where to put it. So one of the best places to put it in is full sun with well-drained soil, and you want to avoid planting something called tropical milkweed. Tropical milkweed doesn't die back like some of the other varieties, and it can disrupt monarch butterfly habitat or their migration. So you really want to make sure you plant a native variety for your area. Hey, Inga, thanks for joining us. All right, so the history of milkweed, like I mentioned already, it is native to North America. There are a number of varieties that will grow in your area, but you want to try a native variety. So common milkweed was the first one. Green milkweed is one we carry. By the way, in the description section of this video, you'll find a link to my comprehensive planting guide. You'll also find a link to milkweed seeds. I didn't put these. All right, so just to throw this out there at you, I'm wearing my sleeves today because I can't put my bug spray on, and I don't want to have mosquito bites on top of my hives. So if you missed my Facebook post, I must have rubbed up against something and I had an allergic reaction to it. So I got hives for the weekend. Happy birthday to me, right? So there are a lot of different varieties. The seeds are nice and soft and fluffy, and they grow in a pod on a butterfly weed or milkweed plant. It's also called butterfly weed. How fun is that? And then there's a big pod, and then there's like fluffy tufts inside of it, and then that's where the seeds are. You're going to need to want to have those pods darkened before you pull them out if you want to collect the seeds. So green milkweed is one that's common in our area. It is native to Texas, if I remember correctly. Asclepias tuberosa, I call it tuberosa. And then you have incarnata white. So there's a couple different varieties that we carry. Uses of milkweed. I already mentioned, but I'm going to go over it again just in case you missed it. It is the sole host of the monarch butterfly caterpillar. The blooms also feed various pollinators, which is kind of fun. It is fantastic for a pollinator garden. If you want to have a native garden and you want to plant only natives in a certain spot, really, really good for those. Now, I mentioned cold stratification. If you're unfamiliar with cold stratification, milkweed seeds require a cold period. You see this real quick. And now, have you ever cold stratified seeds before? If you haven't, I can help you with that. Cold stratifying can either be using the natural process of cold, freezing temperatures outside, and then it starts to warm up like it does in spring. You can winter sow your seeds, and that means you're going to plant them in late fall, and you're going to allow them to overwinter. Then they will, once they go through that natural cold step, the cold process, then they will germinate in the spring. So that is the natural process that a milkweed seed would go through because you're going to drop the seeds in late fall, and then they're going to go through that cold snap. In Texas, we don't get as much of a cold snap as some of you others in, say, Virginia, Montana, but it does need to go through that natural cold process. Now, if you don't want to wait that long and you want to do a shorter version, you can mimic the natural cycle by using your refrigerator. And so the easiest way to do that is you're going to take your seeds and you're going to put them in a moist paper towel. You're going to fold over that moist paper towel so it's got moisture on both sides, and then you want to stick it in a small container. You can use a plastic bag, you can use a glass container and put it in the refrigerator, but I will say this, you want to make sure that you keep it closed and you keep it labeled, because you don't want it to dry out, but you also don't want someone else in your house to throw it out and then you spent that time cold stratifying and now it's gone. And the natural process would take longer outside, but the inside process in your refrigerator is just going to be a 30 to 60 days where you place them in the refrigerator, let them get cold like they would naturally outside, and then you pull them out. Now, the timing on this is important as well, because you can either plant them indoors in the wintertime, or early winter, late winter, and start them indoors under lights 6 weeks before you plant out. I prefer to do it a little on the simpler side, and I like to direct sow after my last frost. So my last frost is in March. So what I would do is I would count, say, March 15th, and I would count back 60 days, and then I would know when to put them in the refrigerator. And then after that 60 days, I'm going to take them out and I'm going to direct sow them in my garden. That is the easiest way for me to do it. I prefer to direct sow and not use containers inside because I only have so much space. By the way, if you guys are just joining me, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions while I'm sharing this information, definitely let me know and ask. Now, you want to, when you are sowing, whether you're going to sow your seeds in containers or whether you're going to direct sow, you're going to sow your seeds about 1/4 of an inch deep, and you want to make sure that the soil that you're sowing your seeds in is moist but not waterlogged. The ideal germination temperature for your soil is going to be 65 to 75 degrees. So you want to make sure that your soil has had a chance to warm up before you plant your seeds. Be aware, though, if you are, oh, thanks, Denise. Be aware if you are planting milkweed seeds in containers to transplant out, they have a very long taproot. So they're going to need a larger container for seeds, for if you're starting them indoors or if you're starting them outside. Because if the plant gets root bound, it can slow the growth of the plant. It could, what's the word I'm looking for? Snarky says you're having a second summer in Arkansas. It's pretty warm here. It's going to be in the 90s today. And then you want to make sure you give it a larger pot. Like I said, if you have it in a small one, you could damage the plant. You really could just grow a not so healthy plant if you don't give it a good container to grow in, which again is why I like to direct sow in the garden. So just to recap, milkweed seeds, if you are going to start your seeds, you can either start them in late fall outside to use the natural habitat of cold stratification, or you can cold stratify in your refrigerator for 30 to 60 days before planting out. One thing that I touched on Wednesday during my live chat on Facebook was not using herbicides and pesticides, because milkweed is a host plant for butterfly larvae, for butterfly caterpillar. The sole purpose of planting milkweeds is to allow a place that these caterpillars can eat and grow and then turn into butterflies. So we don't want to use any pesticides that are period, because it will harm them. And the other question was aphids. If you have aphids on your plant, there was one theory to just give them a good blast to get rid of the aphids. The problem with that is you might also be giving a big blast to your eggs for caterpillars. So honestly, I would prefer to just leave it. And if you're worried about an aphid infestation kind of going out into your regular garden, I would recommend planting milkweed in an area that you're not growing vegetables. So plant it away from your regular vegetables. That way you can give it its own spot. And if it does get some aphids on it, you can continue to grow it without infecting the rest of your garden. Now, from seed to host plant is about 60 to 90 days. So you want to give it plenty of time to grow as well. And that's pretty much it. I would say that if you are going to grow milkweed seeds or milkweed plants from seeds, sorry about that. The Miss M says the aphids stay put, but I hate the black soot mess. I know that is definitely a tough one as well, because sometimes they can be susceptible to different diseases. If you do get those, you might want to try and remedy by rotating where you plant them. So don't plant your milkweed in the same place all the time. Hey Bertha, thanks for joining me. So if you missed the beginning of the live chat, thank goodness for the replays. You can always get those on a later time. So if you've got questions about milkweed seeds, if you've got questions about which one would grow native to your area, you can always send me an email. My email is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com, and I do try to answer your questions. I apologize for not being able to go out into my garden so you can see some of what's growing, but I have to stay out of the sun for the next couple of days. So you get me here in the shade with my garden, one of my gardens, I should say, in the background. So that is it. Plant for pollinators. Don't use herbicides or pesticides. Cold stratify before you plant, and wait to plant out direct sowing until after your last frost date. Simple stuff. Alrighty, everybody, I'm going to be done for the day. Oh, thank you, Miss M. I'm going to be done for the day. I've got a lot on my plate. In the description section of this video, I completely forgot. Besides the milkweed seed link, I also have my September seed giveaway and my September seed sale. So if you haven't already checked that out, go ahead and check it out. Enter the giveaway if you haven't already. It is free to enter. There's no purchase necessary. So go ahead and check it out. You might win something. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me, and happy planting.